Hi, I'm Katiana,
I'm Michael.
I'm Noah.
and today we're going to be talking about blind obedience. People learn obedience at a young age, and this leads to them obeying generous and respectable people. Montenegro and Littell's study explained the good that causes obedience versus Kawashima and Martin's test on a certain situation that showed what can lead to disobedience. The problem being addressed in this study is the development of blind obedience through fear towards authority. This is commonly seen in parts of the world ruled by dictators and the use of child soldiers. Studies done by Wessels and Constantly, Milgram, Singer, and Sang provided information on blind obedience towards authorities.
To the slide. Existing studies reveal how obedience is created through legitimate means and blind obedience is created through illegitimate means. Respect and generosity make people feel valued, yielding obedience and a legitimate power relationship derived from cultural, political, and economic factors. Montenegro's studies related the act of caring to generosity, which is a moral virtue valued in an authority figure. Piaget's studies have highlighted the importance of sympathy, especially in a child. Sympathy creates a link with another person and constructs moral feelings that will influence the child in their future. Kawashima and Martins tested the absence of generosity and its effects on obedience to authority between preschool students and their teachers in 2013. Findings showed that when a teacher did not show generosity and chose not to encourage a child, 87% of the children believed that the teacher's actions were wrong, and 12% of the students became disobedient. Using strength and violence in the case of authoritarianism are illegitimate means that create blind obedience. Specifically, child soldiers are created through blind obedience, which has become an increasing global concern in the past decade. The child soldiers are subject to strict rules of conduct, and any form of behavior that could be taken as disobedience is punished severely, usually with beatings. Abuse and intimidation are used to maintain blind obedience, causing the child soldiers to be susceptible to commands. According to Stanley Milgram, in this condition, a child no longer sees themselves as responsible for their own actions, but they see themselves as an instrument to carry out the wishes of others. In at least some situations, the individual will focus their attention on completing their orders, and importantly, they will rate their own success based on how well they were able to carry out those orders given to them by someone that they view as an authority figure.
For this proposal, our specific research question is, how can we avoid blind obedience through fear in our society? In order to answer this question, we have to examine the past in order to understand the future. Our research will primarily focus on analyzing documents of known historical contexts in which obedience was obtained through the use of fear. In particular, we'll be examining the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. Through analysis of the historical context, we can interpret and understand what occurred in people's minds as they obeyed their tyrannical rulers. Of course, even with document analysis, we, as researchers, must be able to take on the responsibilities of conducting research in this field. The team will need to evaluate credible sources for proper authority and expertise, cite our sources for each document we use in our research, and give credit to those sources for their work. With the insight gained from the research, we intend to promote methods to deter blind obedience in our society by implementing new practices in the education system. Teacher-student relationships can become more respectful and friendly at an early stage in a student's life and ultimately affect the lives of generations to come in a positive manner as we reinforce healthy relationships between authority figures and those that willingly obey. In conclusion, it is our goal to ensure proper respect for legitimate authority and generosity from authorities to society. With the insight gained from analyzing history, our team knows that we can advance society forward while preventing blind obedience through fear from affecting generations to come.